Trust me, you're not alone. I bet you almost forgot that a Stanley Cup champ still had yet to be crowned when you woke up this morning. I mean, we are only 2.5 months away from NHL training camps opening again. The Detroit Red Wings have had to keep themselves occupied since Saturday night when they opened a 3-0 lead on the Capitals in Washington. Most of the players went to the movies to pass the time, but Kirk Maltby passed on Godzilla. Said Maltby, that will be a rental. Godzilla, of course, is the nickname of Caps goalie Olaf Kolzig, who's looking to keep Washington alive in his 33rd straight start. Scoreless in the first, Wings extra man. Sergei Fetisov sets up, looks cross ice. Doug Brown shoots, and he scores past Ole the goalie. 1-0 Wings. Take another look. Thomas Holmstrom will actually set up in front of Kolzig and actually tip it through his legs. Brown gets credit. It's a team effort. Brown's third of the playoffs. Later in the first, still 1-0 Steve Yzerman. Breaking in from the blue line. Goes right through Kolzig. Holmstrom on the rebound, but Ole stops it. Look again. Big save at the time. Stevie White couldn't believe it at the time. He'd have other opportunities. It's now 2-0 Wings in the second. One more would be lethal, right? Yzerman springing Holmstrom on the breakaway. Kolzig all over Holmstrom. Scotty Bowman knows that could have nailed it right then and there. But later in the second, the Wings would turn it over. We have a game. Scramble in front of Chris Osgood. Brian Bellows banging it home. His 6th of the playoffs. It's 2-1 now, Detroit. But Detroit would get a power play minutes later, and Holmstrom behind the net centers it. Larry Murphy puts it in. 3-1 Detroit. And who's there? Who made the trip? None other than Vladimir Konstantinov, giving the thumbs up. Third period, another Wings power play. Slava Kozlov. Here we go, 2-on-1 with Brown. The great pass, and Dougie Brown doesn't miss from there. His second of the game, and the celebration is on. 4-1, and midway through the period, during a stoppage of play, the Wings pounding their sticks in salute to Vladimir Konstantinov. There he is, number 16, and his wife getting a standing ovation from the crowd. And then the Stanley Cup being prepared for Detroit once again. Last seconds of the game, a 4-goal game, a 4-game sweep, and there you have it. A great feeling for Chris Osgood, who was victimized heading into this series. And what can you say about Yzerman, the Conn Smythe winner, captain of the Wings, presented with a Stanley Cup in the moment everyone was waiting for, handing it to Vladimir Konstantinov, the inspiration for this Detroit team to repeat. Konstantinov getting his trip around the ice with the Stanley Cup. And then the coach, Scotty Bowman, his 8th Stanley Cup title, tying the NHL record. 4-1 the final, back-to-back sweeps. The Wings win their 9th Stanley Cup in history. Bowman ties Toe Blake with his 8th Cup title. Osgood, 30 saves. He allowed only 7 goals in this series. Washington outshot 163-99 for this series as the Caps fall to 0-10-1 against Detroit since 1994. Plenty more to talk about, and that's why we're sending you right back out to the nation's capital and bring on in John Saunders and Barry Melrose. Guys?
All right, thanks a lot. And a very strange scene here at the MCI Center. You could swear many more Red Wing fans than there are Washington fans. Just the same, the Red Wings celebrate again their 2nd consecutive championship. Let's talk about what makes this team so special.
Well, I think you got to start at the top, and Scotty Bowman. You've got an experienced coach. He's been here many, many times. This was not a winning organization before Scotty Bowman got here, so you got to give this man a ton of credit for what they've become. Leadership. You got Stevie Yzerman. I've said it a million times. I think this guy is the greatest leader, the greatest captain in the NHL right now at this moment. He leads by scoring. He leads by checking. He leads by hitting. He leads by in a dressing room. So many, many ways. Goaltending. Osgood has been good this year. He hasn't had to be great. He's not going to win the Conn Smythe. Usually a goaltender is one of the guys that does. But tonight, I thought he was very good. I thought he outplayed Ole the goalie tonight at key times. So Osgood got the job done. But above all, what makes this team better than anybody else is the depth of this team. So many guys beat you. Marty Lapointe, 9 goals. Joey Kocher, 4 goals. Maltby, Draper scores a winner in overtime the other night. Murphy gets a goal tonight. McCowan comes over from Toronto. I could just keep going and going and going. The depth of this team makes this team special. They got 5 guys not even dressing that could play for any other team in the NHL.
It's the 4th consecutive sweep in a Stanley Cup final. That has never happened before. Detroit doing it in 8 consecutive games over the last 2 years, and there's reason to believe they could do it again next year.
Well, I never thought they would overcome the Konstantinov injury. This is one of the best defensemen in the world, and to lose him, I thought there'd really be a big void, so you got to give them credit there. The majority of their core guys are young men. Fedorov is a young man. Lapointe is a young man. Their defense, Lidstrom is a young man. Ericsson's a young man. Osgood's a young man. Shanahan is still in his prime. Really, the only older players are Yzerman and Fetisov.
Right. Again, our congratulations to the Detroit Red Wings, champions for the second consecutive year. Back to the studio.
All right, thanks, John. Now, as you saw here tonight on ESPN, the Detroit Red Wings once again have won the NHL title, sweeping the Washington Capitals. Last season, after they swept the Flyers, there was that terrible limousine accident, making this year's title run all the more significant. The emotions were thick afterward.
Unbelievable season, emotional season. And this is for this guy who's been around like for the last few years, and he's been around as the best defenseman, and he's still with us. And everything we've done this year, this is for this man, Vladimir, and for Sergei Mnatsakanov. So this is emotional, and it's great.
Complacency did not creep in our dressing room, and we always feel fortunate. You have to be fortunate to win something like this. But at the same time, you just can't say enough about the group of guys and the commitment we had, the adversity we faced. We just put our nose to the grindstone, and everybody stepped up. This is not an individual championship for any one player or two players. What a team effort. It's great to be a part of it.
It's exciting. It's real emotional because everything we've been through. And it's been a long 2 months, but it's definitely worth it.
I will ask Mom, how did you feel all those people saying nasty stuff about your son?
I knew he'd pull through, and I knew he'd do it.
Oh, yeah.
Going in, I didn't know if we could really win another cup, but I knew that the desire and the motivation was there, and fortunately we did.
I guess with 16, we got a great team, and we won them back-to-back. I feel unbelievably great. I'm not even tired yet, so I feel really, really good.
Darren Pang asking the final questions. There's still much, much more later in the show, but right now this fact: Detroit's the 7th team to sweep in consecutive seasons in either the NHL, the NBA, or Major League Baseball in the finals. 5th hockey team to do so. It's never happened in the NBA, in fact. Scotty Bowman doesn't waste time with 3-0 series leads in the Stanley Cup. 4 previous times he's been up 3-0 in the final series. Each time his team won Game 4. Now here's another note. Bowman's also been on the losing end of 4 final sweeps. So he's been involved in 3-0 series leads or deficits 9 occasions, each time the series ended in a sweep.
You watch this on ESPN. The Red Wings beating the Washington Capitals 4-1 to complete back-to-back sweeps of the Stanley Cup Finals. And we want to get you right back to Washington. 2 interviews for you, beginning with Darren Pang, who's talked with Steve Yzerman, the Conn Smythe Trophy winner, and then Steve Levy chatting with Sergei Fetisov. Guys?
You got to hoist your first major trophy in the Conn Smythe. It started with Jean Beliveau in '65. How'd that feel?
It was pretty exciting. You know, I haven't won anything in my career other than the Stanley Cup last year, which is pretty good. So pretty exciting, man. It's just incredible thrill. And the best thing is I got a no trade, so they can't trade me.
Last year you went to Scotland. What are you doing now?
Well, unfortunately, I don't got time to go to Scotland, but we're going to have a lot of fun anyways.
You got Vladdy. You've got your fans at Joe Louis, so they're 20,000 strong. How do you guys contain yourself? This has been unbelievably emotional.
You know, it's so draining. Just the whole playoff run is incredibly draining. I just can't wait to get in the locker room and get this stuff off. I'm sick of wearing it, to be honest with you. But, you know, it's exhausting, and I'm glad we ended it tonight. I didn't want to have to play another game.
You want to say hello to the fans at Joe Louis? They're live right now.
I guess they're sold out, and we can't wait to get home.
We meet again in the Stanley Cup champion locker room.
That's right.
Sergei Fetisov of the Detroit Red Wings. You had said all along, in sort of a weird way, that the holdout might have helped you. You were fresher down the stretch, and that helped your personal performance.
That's correct. Mentally and physically, I was fresher, but I'm telling you, I try so hard to manage myself into the group of the working hard guys who work throughout the whole season. They work physically, I work mentally, try get my stuff together, and only thought that I had just tried to come back to and play competitive hockey. I never thought it would be awesome celebration like that tonight, and I'm very, very excited. I'm very pleased. I'm very proud of many people who've been through with me and with this team. Proud of the organization and the ownership. It's been really terrific.
All right, Kenny Holland won't appreciate this, but why don't you do this every year? You'd be great down the stretch in the playoffs. What a great idea.
Well, they signed me for 6, so I can't do it every year, but I'm glad that they give me a chance to prove myself. And sort of, I look at it that when they match, it was an important thing to me because Detroit was my second hometown. I admitted throughout all my career. That's all. Every game I play for Detroit Red Wings. I didn't see myself really in the other uniform, but you know, business is business, and I try make best decisions as possible for myself because this career not gonna go forever. And I've been honest. That's all I know. I've been honest. I've been straightforward. Whatever I said out there when I try to negotiate a contract, it was very, very true. And I'm glad everything worked out. That's all I know. I'm glad for the fans. I'm glad for my teammates, and I'm very happy.
I got to ask you the $12 million question.
Yeah.
You traded all for this cup, wouldn't you?
That's exactly what had been on my mind when I saw Vladdy, when I kind of knew a couple days ago that they coming back here, Sergei and Vladdy, and I thought, forget it. I don't give a damn about that.
I understand.
Because most important thing, you and I know, win a cup and be best athlete as you can, because career is not very long. It's short career, 15, 20 years. I don't know, Slava 30 maybe, I don't know.
When Vladimir was being wheeled around with the Stanley Cup, I think that'll go down as one of the most emotional scenes in sports history. Tell us what you were feeling when you saw that.
Well, I'm glad that guys give him a cup and try to help him a little bit out. But let me tell you, those hands and those wrists of his still pretty strong. He was handling himself, you know. I was very proud of it, and I can't really get all my emotions on, but it was unbelievable.
Congratulations, Sergei. Three-peat, we'll see you again in this spot next year?
Three what?
Three-peat, 3 times in a row next year?
Maybe.
Thank you, Steve. Get a blow dryer, and thank you, Sergei. Hey, since the Devils swept the Wings in the '95 Cup Finals, the Cup Finals have been utterly dominated by the West Coast, the Western Conference teams. West teams have scored more than twice as many goals and led games for 477 minutes to just 55 minutes for Eastern Conference teams.
Very next SportsCenter is going to come your way at 11 Pacific. Rich Eisen and Reese Davis all over that. Baseball tonight. They're getting set to go. I'm Kenny Mayne.
I'm Linda Cohn. We leave you with a salute to the Stanley Cup champion Detroit Red Wings. Enjoy and congratulations, Detroit.
Red Wings trying to get the sweep. 3 seconds left. Into the zone. The Detroit Red Wings are the Stanley Cup champions! The Ottawa Senators have done it. They have eliminated the New Jersey Devils.
I felt so good. Went on Brooklyn, did the same. Boom, 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 boom. Shoot you right down off of your feet.
Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. I love the way you walk, and I love the way you talk. When you walk that walk, and you talk that talk, you knock me out off my feet. Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. How, 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 how. Hey, hey.
For the first time in franchise history, can you believe it? The Caps are going to the Stanley Cup!